And if you like positivity, I just told Chris Demm this. You know, on Tuesdays we have that meeting I'm always in. I'm known as the two-hump grump. That's
how you represent us.
Oh, yeah.
At the meeting.
Well chronicled that I'm always negative and always.
Anytime someone brings up a new idea, what do?
Shoot it down.
Like
Big
an
time.
anti-aircraft gun.
Shoot it down.
Right there.
I'm like one of those Patriot missiles.
Patriot missiles, the Israeli, what do they call it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
defense.
The Iron
Dome.
Yep, the Iron Dome.
Thank you.
Somebody says, let's do this. No.
No, I don't like it.
Yes.
What about a food truck rodeo?
No. No, it won't work. Why not? It just won't. We can't do it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
We're coming up on a big anniversary. One of my favorite anniversaries of a idea you tried to shoot down.
I desperately tried
to shoot it down and said, no way this will ever work.
Trunk or treat.
Yep.
It's become our biggest event.
1 week away, actually.
1 week away from trunk or treat. That's right. And 3 years ago, it was presented in that meeting, and I said, big time bomb. Won't work. I said it'll be the four of us standing there with our thumbs up our butts and 2 or 3 people trying to get free candy. Homeless guys, smelling of urine will come up and try to get free candy. That's all it'll be.
I'll never forget the night of.
Well,
I got here, I think we all got here a little early, way before the crowds. And I was doing a little work, and Chris Kelly said to me, no rush to get outside. And you just hang back here.
Yeah.
Wander out when you feel like it.
Yeah, there's no need to rush to the scene of the disaster.
Nobody's going to be there anyway.
Fast forward 1 hour later. Get your fat ass out here. What are you doing? You can't sit inside.
1,000 children
Help us.
and their parents loved it.
What are you doing?
I shot it down. I said, this will never work. Well, yesterday, same meeting. I'm the two-hump grump. You know that. Okay. We're in there. There's like 10 of us in there. Meeting setting around a big conference table. The leader of our meeting, our sales guy, gets up and closes the door to the room, which is rare. And I thought, somebody's about to get it. Woo. And I was like, I'm going to be on this now.
Did you think for a moment it might have been you?
No, I couldn't think of anything I'd done wrong. I was like, have I done anything? I said, no, somebody's getting ready to get it. I'm going to witness it. It's like, I'm going to be like, yep, I knew it. I told you. And I was ready to jump on whoever, know.
Oh, yeah.
As always. And our sales manager said, I just want to start this meeting with a round of applause. And he starts clapping, and everybody started clapping except me. And I thought, they're clapping for me. All right, I did something.
For you.
I said, I don't know what I did, but I did something good. Yep.
Go ahead. Rain down praise.
Yep. And he looked at me and he's like, come on. So I start clapping. And I was just like, I don't know what we're clapping for, but I don't like that. I don't care for
unbridled
enthusiasm.
I don't come here for enthusiasm. And he said, that clap is for a job well done in the last 10 days.
For the team.
And he listed off all these things we had done. We had a dog show and hurricane relief and a motorcycle giveaway and Friday night football and all these different things. And he's like, you all are the stars of this whole community. And I was ready to harumph it and go, no, we are not.
I have a list of things we did wrong at those events.
And when I started to speak, he held up his hand and he said, no negativity today.
Not today.
Not today.
today.
We're not being negative today, which really hurts me. That's what I
that's
like.
your angle.
That's what I like to do. I like to be negative on things. It wasn't yesterday. Couldn't be yesterday.
How long did the applause last?
10 seconds.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of.
Yeah, sometimes in those situations, nobody knows when to stop.
When to stop.
Yeah.
I ended it. I folded my arms.
That's enough.
I'm not going to clap anymore for this. I'm very uncomfortable in those situations.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, get it up. Yeah, come on. And I said, no, that's not for me. First, I thought, golly, I must have done something really good. Something
ego on
I
you.
don't know what it is. But
I just got here, you guys.
Man,
This is embarrassing.
Geez, guys, I did something awesome.
That's maybe one of the most narcissistic things I've ever heard is that anytime there's clapping, you assume it's for you.
I don't know the meaning of the word narcissism.
You don't,
Exactly.
but that's it.
That's where I don't know the meaning of the word narcissism or nepotism or necrophilia. Those are the three.
You mix them up.
I mix them up. I don't know which is which, and some of them I don't even know at all. Speaking of negativity and radio, interesting thing happened on the radio in Dallas. Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, who just celebrated his 82nd birthday with their worst loss in many years.
And his worst home loss in Cowboys since he bought the team.
Owned the team. Yeah. In the late 80s, he bought the team. So he goes on to the same radio station every week, 105.7 The Fan. And it's an FM station, and I think he must be contractually obligated to go on that station. They do that sometimes, you know.
It must be like the home of the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure they do the games. And so the hosts always ask him about the previous week's game. Well, they just lost to the Lions 47-9. So you know there's frustration there, obviously. So the hosts on The Fan start asking him about decisions he's made and what would you do differently and this and that. And Jerry Jones said, I'm not going to sit here and listen to you guys ask me and criticize my decision.
Now, if you think I'm interested on a damn phone call with you over a radio and sitting here and throwing all the good out with the dishwater, you have got to be smoking something over there this morning. I'm not. And I really don't, and I don't even want our listeners to listen to me, to talk about this is not your job. Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something, and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job.
Well, my job is to ask
why.
why.
A job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
Oh my God! Do you know how much I would pucker if Jerry Jones said that
there?
Oh my God! If you ask him a somewhat difficult question about, you just got killed 47-9, what would you do differently, this and that, and he goes, if you keep asking me these questions, I'll get somebody else in there to ask these questions.
Sorry, Jerry.
You know what? I'd start asking Jerry, like, I love the uniforms. What are we doing? Are we going to do throwbacks?
I heard there's a new churro available in section 208.
Yeah. Those would be my follow-up questions, That's the kind of thing I do. And then he went on and he's like, look, I'm not talking to the fans here. I'm talking to you yahoos on the radio.
Jerry, we're trying to figure out why the team is.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you.
Jerry,
okay. Y'all really think you're going to sit here with a microphone and tell me all of the things that I've done wrong? Now, listen, we both know we're talking to a lot of great fans and a lot of great listeners. And I am very sorry for what happened out there Sunday. I'm sick about what happened Sunday. Now, I'm not talking to these yahoos on the end of this phone. I'm talking to you, the fans that are listening this morning.
Right. Apologize to you, but not these yahoos back in the radio studio. They are, of course, bumbling idiots.
I didn't hear. It's the first I've heard of this. I did read the headline, of course, yesterday, and like you said, Jerry is on that show every day or every week. And I think it was Shannon Sharp said, and this is kind of a slap at our industry. He said, "Look, don't pick on these weak imbeciles in radio."
You're on my list now,
It's almost
Sharp.
like, beating up a special needs school, Or, it's like you beat up on the handicap.
Right.
It's like, they're just DJs.
They don't know. They don't know what they're doing.
But I also read the two, like, they talk for 10 more minutes after.
I'm
sure
and
it was
did.
not contentious after.
Yeah. I'll tell you, though, most people that I saw came more to the defense of the radio guys. And
Well, they said, why didn't you make more moves in the offseason, essentially?
Well, how can they not ask that question?
Yeah,
the
that's
way
what
the
they're saying.
season's going,
It was a terrible loss.
Mhm.
You're on there. That they're supposed to ask those questions.
You have to ask the hard. I mean, you're supposed to ask the hard question. Tough to do. I think that's a fair question. It was like, would you have made any other different moves in the offseason given how the season has started for the Cowboys? And, of course, Jerry Jones, I'm sure, is in a terrible mood. They just got killed. So he lashes out and says, I'll get somebody else in there.
I'm sure we'll have an apology today or something saying.
I don't think so.
You don't think? You don't think he'll come out and say?
I don't think Jerry Jones thinks he's going to. I mean, why does he need to apologize to him?
He probably thinks he did nothing wrong.
Yeah, and as you say, these are weak, imbecile radio.
No, the lowest of the low.
When has a radio show ever been apologized to?
Never.
We apologize
That's true.
for.
Good point.
We're never apologized to. No, I don't think Jerry Jones thinks much about that. But if you're contractually obligated to be on the show, you're going to have to face these kind of questions.
I might have just canceled if I was him yesterday.
I don't think he never does. I always hear of him on two of the. Aaron Rodgers is always on with Pat McAfee because I think they're buddies, have been for a while. And Jerry Jones is always on that station, The Fan in Dallas.
And remember when he played, Tom Brady was always on that station in Boston.
Always.
WEEI.
I think they pay him for that. I have heard that he at least, Brady, was paid to be on that station.
I'm sure it happens on almost every NFL
I guess. I always hear Jerry Jones, and I used to always hear Tom Brady, and I always hear Aaron Rodgers, which is pretty interesting because Rodgers, of course, is always in the center of something. You know, his opinion is always valued on something. The way football goes, and they just traded for Devontae Adams. I got really into sports yesterday, man. I did my podcast in here yesterday.
Oh yeah.
We call it a podcast because...
Is that a thing?
Yeah, well, we're trying to make it a thing. My co-commissioner in my fantasy football league and I don't do it every week. He does it every week with varying co-hosts, host a podcast about last week's games, and we call it Podcap because it's a recap of all the games. Now, how many people hear it, including us? 8.
How long was your broadcast yesterday?
45 minutes. Jesus. Broadcast, and we got really...
Did you do 40 minutes on horror movies?
I'd say we did 25 on horror movies, and 20 on football and fantasy football, and really into the nuts and bolts of it yesterday. And he told me who he was going to vote for the presidency, and I'm not going to share it with you. It was completely private. You'll have to listen to the podcast.
Oh, he announced it on the podcast?
He did, and you don't have access to the podcast.
You never will.
No.
And you don't care about him because you don't know who he is. So that's it. You will not know who he is going to vote for.
But it rhymes with grump.
Well, I can't say that. You know, yesterday, it brought back a fond memory. Yesterday, early voting started in Georgia. Early voting starts here tomorrow for us. And I'm voting tomorrow. I made the decision. I'm just doing it. You know, I'm getting it out of the way.
Yeah.
Now, I've been against that in the past because I thought, dang, that's 2 or 3 weeks before the election. What if I change my mind? Can I go back in there and say,
excuse me? Hello? Excuse me? I was here last week. I'd like to change.
Remember when I was in? I was thinking maybe.
Yeah. Can I get a new card?
I think I acted rashly. I think I listened to a commercial, and maybe I'll do something differently this time. Well, yesterday was early voting in Georgia opened for the first time, and they had a record number. 300 and some thousand people showed up in Georgia to early vote. And in the past, I think that has been bad for Trump because he was a guy who was all about vote on election day. He didn't trust early voting. But this year, Trump has said, vote early. You know, go
get out there.
Get out there, which is the smart move. I mean, there is early voting. In fact, I got several pieces of literature in the mail with Mr. Trump's picture on it saying, vote early, you know?
Let me tell you, changing addresses during an election year.
Yeah.
They've come to my door 3 times now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I mean, and I swear the minute I registered in my new district, the amount of mail and visits all just skyrocketed.
They're really canvassing my neighborhood. These are Trump supporters now. I don't know if I'm in a zip code where Trump is. I don't know. You know, I'm a registered Republican. So it might. Now, Chris Demm says I'm a rhino. Some have said that about me. Many have called me a rhino, but they're there.
They finally caught me the other day outside, the visitors.
Yes.
Normally I can just watch them through the camera. I'm like, nah.
We're not coming in, right?
But they caught me over the gate as I was getting out of my car. I said, can we speak to you? And I gave them the
planning to vote?
That was the, are you going to vote? And I said, I know who I'm voting for. Just kind of shut my car door and waved him off. But he was relentless. He's like, I'd still like to talk to you for a minute.
I heard your show yesterday. I don't know.
Yeah. You guys were.
It was kind of weird for a time.
We know who you are.
There was a. What do you think? Now, Biggie, you're a betting man. What will prevent Chris Kelly from voting early tomorrow? Because you've proclaimed this now for a month.
I have.
The line.
Oh, I don't think there'll be any line at all. Every time I've ever, and I did vote early last time, there's 2 people in line.
Oh, really? Okay. I mean, all I heard yesterday was the lines were.
In Georgia?
Yeah.
I've never encountered a line. One time.
That was the plot of the last season of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
The
early
line,
voting. People were waiting in line. Larry David gave a bottle of water to a woman waiting to vote, which is against the law.
If I do it tomorrow, I'll report on the lines. I'll bet you there's almost none. Every time I go expecting a line, there's 2 or 3 people in front of me. The one time I encountered a line was in, I think it was 2004, my precinct. I went on election day at like noon, and it was really crowded. But that's the only time I've ever had a problem. Now, this lady, it's exactly what we were talking about. In Georgia, 4 years ago, this lady went viral because she was prepared to wait 10 hours. I mean, people in Georgia.
Oh, I
waiting.
remember her.
Remember her?
She brought her lawn chair with her.
She had a lawn chair. She had
some snacks,
waters, all these different things. And
then you tried to decipher what she said because she said a word that you and I had never heard before.
I don't think anyone had heard the word. The word was jush, Jush. So on the anniversary of her voting in Georgia, we'll replay it.
Y'all need to go on and get y'all jush and get y'all vote on. I'm ready. I'm going to get my damn jush. They could stand out there for 15 hours. I got my chair. They could stand out there for 24 hours. I got my snacks. I ain't going to play with these hoes. I'm going to vote. You go vote too.
So at the beginning, I said, get your jush on. I got my jush. Mm-hmm. So everybody said here on our air, what is a jush? And I said, I've got it covered. I'd seen the report on CNN. A jush is a fan that you can use to fan yourself to keep the weather, to keep it to keep cool. Mm-hmm. And the reason I said that is because when she said, I got my jush on, y'all need to get y'all's jush, they panned to her chair where there were some bottles of water and a fan. And I thought, oh, her jush must be her fan. So I told everybody, and
I got
this. I know what this is.
Yeah, they did jush. And I said, get your jush. If it's hot out there, just
get your jush brand fan.
Get your jush fan. It's a fan. And the next day, somebody asked her, what's your jush? And she said, oh, that's nothing. That's just a word I made up. It's like the spirit of voting. It's like some vim and vigor for voting. And anybody that thought it was a fan is just straight up fool, And I was like, I was then one person saying, it's a fan.
It's a fan.
But I got to blame CNN for that. They showed the fan while she said Josh.
They did.
Okay. I mean, that's on them in my mind.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, a fan's always been a fan.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was a brand name of fan that I hadn't looked up. So then I Googled Jush, and they were like, no entries. There's one
Do you
word.
think that's changed?
She probably has made it now.
Y'all need to go on and get y'all jush and get y'all vote on. I'm ready. I'm going to get my damn jush. They could stand out there for 15 hours. I got my chair. They could stand out there for 24 hours. I got my snacks. I ain't going to play with these hoes. I'm going to vote. You go vote too.
She did.
I just did a quick Google search, and according to AI Google...
Did my face appear on the Jush?
This old fool thinks it's a fan.
This fool thinks it's a fan. It's really not.
It means it's from RuPaul's Drag Race, the television show.
Aha.
Living Your Best Life.
So she's got her Jush on, living her best life out there, ready to vote. And she did, presumably 4 years ago, vote. So you can get your Jush on and vote in Georgia today, here tomorrow. And I'm getting my Jush on tomorrow, and I'll report back to you. Now, I'm doing it.
Okay.
And there should be nothing stopping me because I ain't pickling. I ain't doing nothing tomorrow.
Last time you said this, your children destroyed your lives.
Oh, wait a minute.
That's right.
Wait a minute. My daughter has a cross-country meet at 2:30.
Oh, now that could be it.
If there's any kind of line at all, I will not have time to get my Jush on tomorrow. God, children ruin everything. I can't even vote. I can't even get out there and do my
support democracy.
To support democracy and vote because of my children, because she's got a cross-country meet tomorrow, and I'll just...
You were just way too confident that there was nothing on your schedule.
Yeah.
And I've seen this movie play out too many times.
I penciled in Jush for tomorrow at 1:30.
Got it.
But she's got a cross-country meet at 2:30, and my wife just told me you're going to have to race home.
Is it a travel
Yeah, it's
meet?
about 45-minute drive.
Oh, okay.
If it takes me longer than 10 minutes to get my Jush on, then I can't do it. So I'll have to look at the line. I'll
gauge it.
Yeah.
Gauge it and see. And yeah, I'm not positive I'll be able to or not. I hope so. By the way, this could be like the reverse of the Kelly curse. Yesterday, I said that, well, it could be the Kelly curse. I said yesterday, no matter who wins this election, and I repeated this multiple times, we are going to have a very peaceful transfer of power. And a prosperous and peaceful 4 years, no matter which candidate wins this election, because America is coming back. I just said that. I said, we're doing this, and we know the stakes, and we know that America is better than the mudslinging in politics. And now, one of the pundits has said, this could be, after this election, regardless of the winner, the greatest mental health crisis in America.
Mental health crisis?
Mental health crisis because...
Really?
So many people are so invested. This was Mark Halperin.
I've heard of him.
Political journalist. Is he CNN, Mark Halperin, or ABC?
I can't recall.
He says tens of millions of Americans are going to have a full-on mental health crisis. It'll be the biggest mental health crisis in the history of our nation, and I'm not joking.
That's the opposite of Jush.
I'd say. Let's get your jush off.
All right.
Gotta get the jush on there.
You deactivate the Jush switch.
I'm going to get my jush on tomorrow now. You're going to hear me getting here Friday talking about good jush. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm going to take
We'll
my
see.
I don't know. It's about the timing. It's about the timing. We'll find out.